Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. Look, if you're stepping into the world of modern application development, there is one architectural pattern you absolutely must understand, and that is OAuth 2.0. So in this overview, we're going to break down exactly why OAuth 2.0 exists, how the underlying architecture works, and really, how it keeps the entire internet safe. Okay, let's dive right in.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll hit 1. The password problem. 2. The OAuth solution. 3. The 4 roles. 4. Communication flow. 5. Authorization versus authentication. And finally, 6. A safer ecosystem.
All right, Section 1. The password problem and legacy web security.
To truly appreciate why OAuth 2.0 exists, we kind of have to look back at the dark, honestly, somewhat terrifying days of early web security. Imagine this scenario. You find this brilliant new travel application, and it promises to sync your upcoming flights with your Google Calendar. Sounds great, right? But in a world before OAuth, how exactly did it get that access? Well, it asked you to type your actual Google email and your master password directly into its app. Think about that for a second. You were literally handing over the absolute keys to your digital kingdom and potentially granting access to all your embarrassing old emails just to sync a couple of dates.
This old password sharing model was absolutely catastrophic. I mean, it violated every single rule of the principle of least privilege. First off, third-party apps often stored your master password in plain text or, at best, weakly hashed formats. Secondly, it was an all-or-nothing deal. Letting that random travel app read your calendar meant you also gave it the power to delete your emails, or worse, change your password. And maybe the most frustrating part, to revoke access from just one app, you had to change your master password, which instantly broke every other integration you had set up. It was just a massive, incredibly fragile attack surface.
Moving on to Section 2. The OAuth solution and decoupling permissions.
So, the industry desperately needed a new paradigm. They needed a way to decouple permission management entirely from credential management. And the crucial concept that solves this is delegated authorization. The OAuth solution essentially shifts the central question of a request. Instead of proving who you are by handing over your password, OAuth allows you to delegate specific, highly limited authority. The client application becomes a pure bearer of a token, and it never, ever sees your actual password.
A perfect real-world example of this is the valet key analogy. Think about it. If you give someone your master car key, they can drive the car, open the trunk, unlock the glove box, and take anything inside. It's total access. But if you hand a valet the restricted valet key, they can only start the ignition and drive it a short distance to go park it. That is exactly what an OAuth access token is. It uses what we call scopes to restrict permissions. So, for instance, a photo printing service gets a token with a scope that specifically says read photos, but it is strictly blocked from delete photos or read emails.
Let's look at Section 3, the 4 roles in the OAuth ecosystem.
Now that we have our heads around the valet key concept, let's map out the formal OAuth terminology. In the OAuth architecture, there are 4 key players. Role number 1 of these OAuth roles is the resource owner. And hey, in most cases, this is you. You own your Google Calendar, your GitHub repositories, your Facebook photos. You are the ultimate decision maker who gets to decide whether access should be granted to an outside application.
Role number 2 is the client. This is simply the application requesting access on your behalf, like that travel app we talked about, or maybe a photo editor. Now, clients can be public, like a mobile app running on your phone, or confidential, like a secure backend server. But the golden rule always remains. The client never learns your password. It only ever handles the tokens it is given.
Role number 3 is the Authorization Server. This is the trusted central gatekeeper. Think of Google's login servers, or identity platforms like Okta and Auth0. This server is the engine responsible for verifying your identity, asking for your explicit consent to share data, and ultimately generating and issuing that valet key, the access token.
And finally, rounding out our complete OAuth components, role number 4 is the resource server. This is the actual API where your data lives, like the Google Drive API. Interestingly, the resource server actually doesn't care who you are. Its one and only job is to look at the access token presented by the client, validate that the token is real, and check if it has the correct scope to access the requested data.
Okay, Section 4, Communication Flow and the OAuth Handshake.
So, how do these 4 roles actually talk to each other securely during the OAuth communication flow? Well, first, the client redirects you through your browser, which we call the front channel, to the Authorization Server. You log in and you click Approve. But here is the absolute genius part. The authorization server doesn't just send the access token back through your vulnerable browser. Instead, it issues a temporary authorization code, which basically acts as an authorization grant. Then, completely behind the scenes, the client makes a highly secure back-channel call from its server to exchange that grant for the actual access token. The token itself is never exposed to your browser's address bar.
And you know, the entire goal of that elaborate, super secure handshake is to safely reach the protected resource. When we ask what OAuth protects, we're talking about your REST APIs, your complex GraphQL endpoints, enterprise microservices, or even just your personal cloud photos. OAuth essentially acts as this invisible shield, ensuring data only moves exactly where it is permitted.
Section 5. Authorization versus authentication. The identity distinction.
Now, we really need to address the single biggest misconception in the industry. It is absolutely critical to understand that OAuth is authorization. It is not an authentication protocol. Traditional authentication answers the question, who are you? OAuth, on the other hand, is purely about delegating permissions. It answers, what is this application allowed to do? When you look at OAuth versus traditional authentication, if an application just uses an OAuth token to log you in, it's essentially peeking at a credential that was never actually designed for identity verification.
And because of this exact gap, the industry created OpenID Connect, or OIDC. OIDC is a specialized identity layer built directly on top of OAuth 2.0. So when an application needs to know both what it's allowed to do and who you actually are, it uses OAuth and OIDC together. This combination is the absolute gold standard for modern, secure logins.
Finally, Section 6, a safer ecosystem and the benefits of OAuth. Let's bring this all together and look at the tangible benefits of leaving those shared passwords behind and exactly why OAuth is safer. By replacing permanent credentials with temporary tokens, we drastically limit the blast radius of any potential security breach. Passwords are never shared. Permissions are locked down to highly granular scopes. Access tokens are designed to be short-lived, sometimes expiring in literally just 15 minutes. And most importantly, if an app turns out to be malicious, you can instantly revoke its access without ever needing to touch your primary account password.
Because this architecture is just so incredibly robust, you'll find common OAuth providers powering the ecosystems of literally every major tech player. Companies like Google, GitHub, Microsoft, and Apple act as consumer authorization servers. Meanwhile, platforms like Okta, Auth0, and Keycloak provide enterprise-grade OAuth infrastructure for developers all over the world. They are quite literally the trusted gatekeepers of the modern web.
Which brings us to an experience you probably have every single day. Every time you see a Continue with Google or Sign in with Apple button, you are initiating that exact multi-step OAuth handshake we just learned about. It is a perfect OAuth example. The true beauty of OAuth in everyday applications is that it takes a deeply complex, incredibly secure back-channel token exchange and totally disguises it as a completely seamless one-click user experience.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. We click these buttons without a second thought, trading our data for convenience. But understanding OAuth reveals the invisible valet working tirelessly behind the scenes. Next time you click Continue with Auth, ask yourself, who is really holding your keys, and exactly what scopes did you just authorize them to use? Thank you so much for joining me, and keep exploring the architecture of the web.